Right, here is the video that I've gone out my way to make. That is based on what I've done within the space of a year. So, although I planned to give myself a haircut today, like I've started to do recently, once a week, I've decided that I'm not going to cut my hair quite yet before making the video because I wanted to show how I think I've done in terms of how I've looked. I think I'm looking quite rough, so I'm going to use that as a metaphor to say that I think my performance has been somewhat rough too. So I definitely don't remember what I've done over the space of a year because I haven't really tracked it. So I think I'm going out the way to track more than I might have ever done in my life. It seems as though I am doing that at least, especially more recently, over these past few weeks because of the note in particular that I wanted to make, and that was related to having diaries. So I've definitely had a diary on and off over this past year, but the manager at the gym I work at has decided that they wanted me to keep a diary on me because I almost missed a shift. Okay, no, I'm gonna go again. So I missed a shift, but I also before that turned up to a shift which I thought I was supposed to do, but had actually been changed if I remember correctly. So I planned to go on a day for a shift which wasn't for me to do. And because of those two instances, the manager decided that in order to be more punctual and to be coming to do the fitness coach work that I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it, that it'd be worth my while having a diary because I used to go out my way to just remember the rota that I'd have and what I'm supposed to do on a weekly and therefore monthly basis because I can very easily access that information. So because especially during a certain point when I had missed a shift, during that time in particular, the shifts that I'd have on a weekly basis were, at least so I thought, happening at exactly the same times on exactly the same days of the week. So I didn't bother checking. I would just go out my way to remember those days, like almost as if my shifts couldn't change, as if I hadn't signed up to do any other shifts on any other days of the week at any other times of the week, which definitely is not the case. I've contractually signed or made myself contractually obligated to work at times that are later than I definitely would like, or definitely later than I'd like. But to be honest, at least at this point, I'm working at times of the day that I'd consider more reasonable and definitely more than okay to work, at least for the most part. There's one day coming up in which I'll be working way later than I'd like, but I think, especially within the space of a year, if I'd like to, I definitely can move on. That rather conveniently leads me on to another major thought that I wanted to talk about. So, for a while now, particularly during February, I was thinking of switching jobs. I was thinking of moving on, and in my eyes, moving up. I was gonna move on from doing work as a personal trainer slash fitness coach to working solely as a personal trainer, but not under my own name. Now, these people who are providing a barely above minimum wage job would have provided me in-house learning So I would have got more accredited courses, which would have helped build me up. And my protocol, at least at the time, that I theorized was to get their qualifications, get some experience there at a place in which their standards are higher compared to where I'm currently working at, and which I'd still agree to this day with that one visit compared to my experience of working where I'm currently working at. And then I'd use that to then fund my own business moving forward. Now, the funds that I would have had, at least in theory, would have been significantly more appropriate than my current funds, at least in the short term. But this idea that I had at the time of having such protocol didn't completely consider that I could have let my pursuit for lifestyle inflation go overboard. I definitely might have gone out my way to spend more than I would have needed to, particularly on food and maybe even clothing and courses, whatever it may be. And I think if I were to have done that, that would have been because I'm not used to having a lot of money. I'm only getting hundreds a month, even at this time of my life. And I'm coming from a place of unemployment for less than 2 years, 19 months. And I've been working this job that I've been working as a personal trainer and a fitness coach for less than a year now. I've been doing so for 11 months in a few days. Now, with that being said, when I go out the way to review what I've done in my life, what I particularly remember would be the work that I'd be doing in my quote unquote career. So I could definitely talk about that further. Now, I still haven't completed my first year within the fitness industry. My rookie year, I call it, my first year, isn't over. And as far as I'm concerned, what I've managed to do within the space of a year is get 4 qualifications. I've managed to get my level 2 in fitness instructing, my level 3 in personal training, which came with a level 1 qualification in kettlebell instructing, first aid qualifications, and that is it so far. But alongside that, I am on my way to getting my level 4 course, which, if my plan follows smoothly, I would have finished within the space of a month from now, roughly. Over a month, maybe about 6 weeks. I don't doubt I'd run my mouth and say when I've done it, but I don't think that's a negative thing, a negative thing to put out on the internet to say that I've got more qualifications. I think that's fine. So, alongside that, I've got 10 months worth of experience working as a fitness coach. So, within this year, I've met a lot of people. But at this point in my life, I don't really have a social life. Now, I definitely do talk to people when I be working as a fitness coach, but outside of that, I haven't really been active from a social perspective. I definitely have been quite isolated, to be honest. Now, I think I've been needing to get myself together in that regard, and I've definitely thought about getting more social, but I haven't really. There definitely have been my highlights, but I haven't really done so regularly. So to disprove this idea, or to further add to it, to be honest, I had I booked an event online to go to a place which is based on self-improvement. Where I live, has quite a lot to access. So, especially in this stage of my life, and especially this early on in my career, moving here has definitely been quite helpful in moving me forward. Not only professionally, but personally too. To go back to what I was saying, no? This event was based on self-improvement, and I think I learned quite a bit about myself, and I further opened my eyes up to the idea of doing therapy. I don't know how long I've been filming for. My camera cuts every 12 minutes, so I'll end it here and then make a part two.